go. Oh god, it's going right away. Hey everybody, it's time for Ace Attorney. I wasn't ready. Hold on, 1 second. A lot of noise happening. There we go. Noise canceled. Bigger the battery, the bigger the battery. I don't know if that's how that works. Does large battery make more battery? I don't think so. I guess it could.
I don't know. You think I know how fucking batteries work?
No, I don't either.
I'm not a battery scientist.
Anyway, let's go show Kazuma's dead dad's letter.
Nice.
The Asugi Papers. Have you heard of this? Have you seen this? Kazuma, what do you make of this?
There's only one place where defense lawyers and prosecutors should discuss evidence. The courtroom. But it seems you're still confused by the situation. That's what I make of it.
I get the feeling my friend's always going to have the edge over me, isn't he? Okay, well, I guess that wasn't relevant. Hey, have you seen this cool picture we took? You're probably just going to say the same thing for everything. Yeah.
Something about evidence, court evidence.
Okay, well, then I don't think we have any... We didn't get the we're done talking to him cutscene yet, which is weird. Usually, like, when you're done talking to a guy, there'll be a cutscene, you know? And it's like, well, I'm done talking to you. Goodbye. And he kicks you out.
Goodbye, idiot.
I don't know... If it's not the letter, I don't know what I would show him that's, like, relevant. If anything. Considering he's going, no, I'm not going to talk about
No,
that.
I think Asagi is probably homophobic. He gives me that vibe. I'm basing that off nothing.
I still don't know why we have this picture and what it's going to prove. Other than I don't like the way that Jigoku is staring at me. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I guess we must just have to... Maybe there's something in the room we didn't notice?
I know what you are.
We did look at the painting, and he was like, I have no idea who that is. Why would I?
Why would I give a single shit about a painting that I don't own? Why is Josh so big? Yeah, well, big battery, you know.
The big
I had to give me upgrades, people, upgrades.
It says, are you sure we've asked everything we need to, Mr. Naruhodo? Which means that we haven't, but there's no more conversation left to converse. So we must have to present something.
Show him our prosecutor armband.
Oh yeah, I guess we didn't do that. Kazuma, this is your armband.
Actually, I think it's yours now.
Sorry?
Not legally, but you're the defense lawyer. You have a talent for it. I've always known that you would. You ever just meet a guy and go, defense lawyer?
Assigned defense lawyer at birth.
And now you've chosen to take that path in life. As your friend, I couldn't be happier for you, or more proud.
I wish you'd smile when you said that.
I'm going to
Kazuma.
crush you in court like a little bug. So you keep hold of that. Besides, I'm a prosecutor now. That armband would have no meaning for me.
Well, if you're sure. Thank you, my friend. Okay, so
Have I told you I'm homophobic yet?
Eh?
More ignore her don't.
Gun. You seen this shit? Oh.
The Reaper. At last, I get to take my revenge.
Kazuma. Lord Van Zeeks isn't responsible for your father's death, and he's not the Reaper. He's the defendant and deserving of a fair trial.
You mean, like the one my father had? You mean the Chaos Emeralds? It's a closed trial now, too. The conditions are exactly as they were 10 years ago. And even if it ruffles some feathers, I have a plan to show that man for what he really is.
Kazuma.
I'm going to put a mirror in front of him, and when he doesn't reflect in it...
Okay, I'm presenting everything I think might be
Let's just
relevant.
present everything.
You know, well, yeah, let's just be thorough. Oh, I was shocked when I found out they were related to the case. The Red-Headed League, I mean.
Personally, it wasn't their plan to swindle everyone that surprised me. It was the fact that so many red-headed people gathered from all over London that day.
A certain great detective being among them.
I expect those two are in their cells as we speak, wishing they never dreamt up their little plan.
Or maybe they're busy plotting their next one. You think about Mr. Vigil? Nope. You think nothing about Mr. Vigil. Got it. I did that steamship
I
ticket.
wouldn't spit on him if he were on fire.
Framed photograph. Nothing. Great. Just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Policeman figure. It looks shockingly similar to the ones you have. Candelabrum. Nope. Okay. Photograph of Greg's. I think I already did this one. Autopsy report. Ah. This came up in the trial, didn't it? As something a little dubious, I mean. The fact that no time of death was recorded on Inspector Gregson's autopsy report.
Yes. There are some unexpected turns in the courtroom. The suggestion you came up with certainly took everyone by surprise. The idea that the victim died the previous day at some other location is quite something.
Nah.
More like Naruto doing your mom, doing your mom, doing your mom.
Well, considering when the pocket watch had stopped and the scorch marks on the candle, it's certainly a distinct possibility. The evidence and the scene both point to it.
I'm sorry, Gap. I don't know why I no-selled your joke like that, but it was funny to me at the time. To be honest, it bothered me too. So I paid a visit to the autopsy room earlier. The coroner responsible wasn't there, but I got a name. It's Dr. Gory. It wouldn't trouble you, Kazuma-sama. We'd very much like to speak with the coroner too.
Ah, this is the thing we needed.
Of course. The last thing I want is for anything to be brushed under the carpet. Only under the rug. Scotland Yard's autopsy laboratory is behind Lowgate Cemetery.
You said that like neither of the ways people say it.
I know, it confused me. I like paused. I was like, what the hell was that?
Lowgate by Barclay Prison, you mean?
Ah, you know it, do you? The prison where my father was incarcerated and robbed of his life. Well, not in the prison.
No.
Kazuma-sama.
Well, thank you. We'll pay a visit to the laboratory later today. Yep, that was the thing we needed. Now get the hell out of my office.
Ryunousuke, I'm done talking to you. I want to thank you.
What for?
For this. Cuts you in half. You safeguarded the soul of the Asagi clan.
Well, it is a famous sword that's been in your family for generations. My only slight regret is that I never got the chance to draw it before I returned it to you.
Karama is said to have been forged by a master swordsmith during the Sengoku Warring States period. I come from a long lineage of warriors, many of whom were expert swordsmen.
Well then, you're a chip off the old block, I'd say.
This blade, Karama, is the symbol of Asagi clan's honor and might. Apparently, one of my father's apprentices even took the blade's name for a surname.
Really? Karama. It does sound formidable, that's for sure.
Is that a reference to someone?
That must be the Von Karmas, I'm guessing, but I have no idea. I don't think it's relevant to this game, but...
Right, I was gonna say, it must... 16 years ago, when my father was a visiting student here in London, he had this sword forever at his side. Which is why it means so much to me that I have it by my side now too. And that is all thanks to you.
It was an honor.
Now get out of my fucking office. Now, I have preparations to make for tomorrow. Perhaps I said a little too much.
Kazuma, you've changed.
Of course, my clothes were all gunky from... No, Ryunousuke, I haven't changed at all. It's you who's changed.
I can completely understand your resentment of Lord Van Zeeks given what happened. The fact is, those events and this case are, well...
Unrelated? Is that what you want to say? How can you be so sure?
What do you mean?
Never mind. Man is the Reaper, and it's for that reason that the Inspector was killed. I'm going to prove as much in court tomorrow, by whatever means necessary.
I don't like that you're holding your sword like that. I can't let you do
I'll
that.
kill the judge! Ryunousuke, I'm going to stab him!
I can't let you do that, Kazuma.
I know you'll do what you have to as a lawyer. But I'm sure I don't need to tell you that I won't be taking any prisoners in the court.
I would expect nothing less.
In fact, I really want to make sure I win. Susato!
Get him.
Come over here. Susato, change allegiances now. Until tomorrow, then. In the old Bailey.
One of us... Oh, you want me to leave, I see.
This is my home. What do you... Of course you're leaving. I'm not leaving.
Oh, hey. A bunch of...
Rah, she really hot topicked the shit out of it, huh?
Yeah. Instantly. 2nd November, Forensics Laboratory. This place really is creepy, isn't it? Well, being a dead room, it's probably full of the spirits of the dissected.
But actually, there's a rather pleasing scent of roses in the air.
Well, being a dead room, the coroner probably needs a bold scent like that to mask the odor of death. Iris? Do you think we could change the subject? Jesus.
Shink, shink, shink. What was that? Shink, 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 shink.
Somebody, a freak sharpening some knives, I assume. Dr. Gory.
She's right behind me, isn't she?
I forgot she had a big-ass cleaver.
Now, what could the cleaver possibly be for in this scenario?
Threats. That noise before...
I was sharp beneath my tools. I'd be dead meat if I didn't keep a perfectly keen edge on them.
Right.
Then following the collagen fibers in the thermos, an expertly sharpened scalpel. Cuts like cheese. Would you like a demonstration?
Oh, yes, please. I'd love to see.
Then, I think you'll do nicely.
Huh? No, I wouldn't do nicely at all. I mean, maybe some other time.
Ugh.
Is that a tut? Well, we came here to ask questions, so... The fact that that doesn't make a sound effect right now is ominous. Time of death. Hey, what the fuck? We have actually met before. I'm a lawyer, if you remember.
You're not dead yet.
What?
So Mama said I wasn't to cut you open. She's so strict about things like that.
Well, good. Dr. Scythe has some scruples, at least.
Pronounced scalpels.
that was a good bit. Oh dear, it seems like she's not interested in talking to us, for the time being anyway.
Who's the time?
Who's the time being? For the time being? You mean until we die? I hope that's a way off. Sorry, but I wasn't planning on dying anytime soon.
Ugh.
Surely there's some less drastic way of making her listen. Alright, do we have any evidence? That'll
Like to
be...
present it. Show our armband, quick. Maybe that'll get her talking.
Will this get you? Could I ask your opinion about this?
Why is he erming so much? Don't forget, you're responsible for putting my mama in jail.
If you want to get technical, she's responsible for getting in jail. She shouldn't have done a crime.
Why should I help you?
Fair enough. How do you feel about autopsy report? Dr. Gory, we actually came here to ask you about this.
He was very good.
Good? Sorry?
His skin didn't snag my blade once. Very little mess. His joints dislocated easily, and his muscle tissue was a pleasure to work with.
We can skip those details. We're talking about Gregson. That's fucked up. But there is one thing about the report that's caught my attention. You don't seem to have recorded a time of death.
Ugh.
Shit. Oops. Whoa.
I just to do a completely different voice. It was all the mask. No, I'm too lazy for that. That's not my fault.
Oh, that made me jump.
Then please, tell us what happened. I honestly thought we were gonna have to go much later in the game to see her take her mask off.
I'm betting this is like the last or maybe second to last time that we talked to her.
I thought we were gonna have to bring her into court.
Yeah, that's why second to last, I'm assuming she'll be a witness. So why doesn't this autopsy report include the victim's time of death then? It's really the most crucial detail.
Oh, died back. I was told not to write it.
What? By whom?
Male Strongheart, the Lord Chief Justice.
Ah, that
He came
bastard.
here.
Lord Strongheart came.
He said that from the witness statements about the gunshot and the other evidence, it was obvious. The man clearly died at 5 p.m. on 1st November, when the gunshot was heard. But that's not the time of death you wrote in the report. You didn't write anything.
Didn't want to lie.
Was there some reason you didn't include it?
Dr. Gory, if you're hiding something under Lord Strongheart's instructions, then sooner or later you're going to go the same way as your mother. Wow, that's not what I would have. That's not what I would have said.
That's not how I
shit.
I'm going to kill you. Give it here then.
What's she scribbling so furiously? It just says go fuck yourself.
There.
You've written...
What? What she's written? Tell us.
Indeterminate. That's me. But... according to the coroner, Dr. Gory, an accurate estimation of the time of death is not possible. This is the court record.
Wait, we have the updated autopsy report now.
Gasp!
No way.
Indeterminate. What do you mean by that? Why was the time of death indeterminate?
When the specimen was brought in, it was still fresh, so the time of death could easily have coincided with when the gunshot was heard. But there was one small discrepancy.
What discrepancy?
There was some fried fish in the pocket of the specimen's overcoat.
Yeah?
And that fish had started to rot.
Oh, yuck. What?
If the victim liked fried fish, he presumably liked to eat it before it went off.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Well, yes, what are you really trying to say?
It's possible that someone tried to manipulate the apparent time of death.
Manipulate that Is that even possible to do? Yes.
Theoretically, if you were to chill the body in ice, you could delay the onset of putrefaction. And if the overcoat wasn't on the body at the time,
Then only the fish would have started to rot.
with today's science, it's not yet possible to determine if the body was chilled or not.
Today's
We
science,
don't look at cells and ice crystals and shit.
we don't believe in that yet. I think we are still in the miasma theory of germs or whatever. Today's science has advanced enough to let you freeze a corpse, it seems. Well, yeah, all you need for that is ice.
Wait, what do you mean today's science? You put it in ice. But surely, to chill a corpse like that would require an enormous electrical refrigerator. And I don't imagine many households in London are equipped with such a device.
No, definitely not. But maybe in a factory or some other special places.
I don't recall seeing any factories or such like on Fresno Street, though. I wonder, if the inspector's body had been chilled somehow, what might the actual time of death have been?
I feel like it takes longer than a day for fish and chips to go bad. Like, bad enough to be rotting.
I have no idea. I've never let fried fish in a pocket. I couldn't say for sure. But at the most, it may have been a day earlier.
Alright, maybe he was just buying some fish that was really maybe he liked it, like, about to go bad. Like, last possible second fried fish, you know? No!
In other words, it would corroborate your previous deduction, Mr. Naruto. That Inspector Gregson was killed a day before his body was discovered at a different location.
Did you inform Lawrence Strongheart of this possibility?
He simply said that there were no electrical refrigerators of that size in the vicinity.
How would he know?
Because I know what fridges are. I'm really good at it.
I own
It's
the
one of
only
my
one of them.
hobbies.
I mean,
I've purchased every electrical fridge. And I'm not the criminal.
oh yes, one other thing. It's something the governor of Barclay prison told us. He said that your mother, Dr. Scythe, was responsible for confirming the death of the professor after his execution.
The professor.
Apparently, you always enjoyed listening to your mother's stories about her work, so we were wondering if you might know something about what happened 10 years ago.
That's not all Mama said.
How old is she supposed to be again? I don't remember.
I don't know.
19.
Wasn't she like, is she
So
19? I was gonna say, she's
she would have
very
been
young.
9.
9, yeah. That's why I was surprised when she was a doctor. I'm like, isn't she like a teenager?
Barely. But like on the back end of it instead of the front. Sorry?
My mama carried out the autopsy of Clint Van Zeeks as well.
Oh, her eyes are sparkling. That's adorable and terrifying. What?
She loves
Really?
autopsies.
The brother of Lord Van Zeeks, the professor's final victim.
The idea of carrying out an autopsy on a member of the aristocracy was completely unthinkable back then. But the detective in charge of the investigation insisted, and it was miraculously authorized.
The detective being Inspector Gregson, of course.
Quite an accomplishment for one man.
That autopsy provided the vital clue needed to arrest the killer. And Mama was there for that historic event.
What does all this mean?
No, that amazing autopsy happened right here in this very room. The professor and Clint Van Zeeks. They both spent their final moments before their burial on that dissection table here. So this lab, Mama's lab, was instrumental in some of the country's most important events.
She really is proud of her mother. I wonder if you'd tell us more about exactly what happened back then, Dr. Gory. Fucking absolutely not. Oh, hey. Usually it gives a thing when new dialogue options pop up.
Yeah, that's weird. They just
That
kind of
was-
snuck him in there. The professor's execution was Mama's first big case. She had to be in attendance at Barclays Prison's execution chamber and signed the certificate to confirm the convict's death. Mama is the best coroner in the world, you know. I was so proud of her.
But the execution didn't actually take place.
No, but worse still, Mama actually helped with the jailbreak. I didn't want to know.
Oh dear. You found out recently, you mean?
Because of you.
I believed in her, in Mama, but I wonder if I'm starting down the same path as her.
You mean because you omitted the time of death on this autopsy report? But that's because Lord Strongheart forbade you from including it.
Just like Mama. I'm sure she was coerced by somebody too.
Yes, that's my feeling as well.
What's that hang off the back of her?
Yeah, I
Never
know,
mind,
it's
not
really...
important. It doesn't make any sense, but
very
okay.
well concealed.
There's no doubt that there were powerful forces at play 10 years ago. The execution couldn't have been staged without a lot of people at the prison knowing about it. Obviously, the prison governor must have been in on it as well.
The big man with the little handcuffs? According to what he told us, he was tricked by the chief warder. He says he knew nothing about it.
Of course he said that. I'd say the same thing.
Just who was behind that jailbreak all those years ago? Alright, so, I mean, obvious thoughts. Strongheart's got something to do with something. Because they haven't talked about his involvement in anything 10 years ago at all.
Correct.
I don't think his name has been mentioned in regard to any of that.
No.
And, again, obvious, I feel like probably, what's his name? Genshin probably didn't do it.
Probably wasn't the killer.
Yeah. Clint's autopsy. You mentioned the autopsy of Clint Van Zieks.
It was at the time when getting autopsies of murder victims was very unusual.
That's fair, because I think around this time they would mostly have not told them anything.
Still not a practice that's observed in our country, even now.
It turned out that he was the professor's final victim. And when the autopsy was performed, Mama was present, although only as a secondary assistant. The person leading the procedure was called Dr. John H. Wilson.
Oh.
Wilson.
That's right, my daddy. Wait, you knew?
Yeah! Doesn't it suck when someone knows something and they don't tell you for a long time?
Strange, isn't it? Curious.
There was one other person present, the primary assistant. He was a visiting student from the Far East.
Wait, a visiting student?
I bet it was Mikatoba.
Yeah.
It
Had
must
to
have
have
been
been.
my father. Eugene Mikoto. A lot of things with parents happening. Have you noticed it's all parents? Kind of
Weird,
crazy,
right?
isn't it? Naruto, where's your parents? Do your parents not matter? They're the only ones that don't matter.
I was gonna see if Ryunousuke has a profile. It said something about dead parents. I don't know why it would. I had no
Yeah,
idea
I'd
Professor
say the only thing it
Pikachu
says-
had been involved in something so important. Ryunousuke, age 24 or whatever. A defense
Dead
lawyer whose
parents.
parents are dead.
His parents are super dead and weren't important when they were alive. But the outcome of that historic autopsy was the discovery of a vital piece of evidence that led to the capture of the professor.
So that's how they came
That
to identify
smile.
Genshin as the infamous mass murderer. Yeah, it's really scary, but in like a cute way. It's adorable, but I'm terrified. Do you happen to know anything about that piece of evidence? Can you tell us any more?
Would you like to see the record for yourself?
What? Would that be alright?
What's the point of keeping records if people can't look at them?
That's true, that's true.
They're filed under V at the back of those cupboards, with the other records from the last decade.
Thank you. Are they filed under V for Van Zieks? Let's see, Van Zeeks, I guess.
Because it was
That's
Van
strange.
Zeek's.
Yeah.
It was Clint Van Zeek's autopsy.
I assumed the van was like a connecting word. I guess not. That's
Like
strange.
their full last name is Van
Van
Zeek's.
Yeah.
What, Mr. Naruto?
They aren't here. There's nothing under Van Zeek's.
There must be.
Perhaps somebody took them away?
No, no one's allowed to take documents related to the professor case out of this room. But you're right. They're gone.
Oh, when was the last time somebody looked at them? Do you remember? I have a funny feeling.
It was.
Ah,
Oh, yes, I remember now. It was 2 years ago.
that's quite some time.
A consulting detective came one day saying he would like to see the
Oh,
records.
it's not who I thought it was. No, you don't mean.
Sherlock Holmes was his name.
Deep down, I knew that was coming.
Of course. Do you think he stole the records?
Oh no. Surely not. Iris, that can't be right. Can it?
Well, Iris? Bruno? I hope you don't mind, but... What is it, Iris? I've just remembered there's something very important I have to do. I'm going to have to leave you now.
I have to go burn evidence. I mean, bake
Evidence. I mean...
tea. Oh, this is very sudden, Iris. Well, we'll come with you then.
Oh, no, there's no need. You and Bruno can take your time here. Bye for now, then. Good luck. Okay.
Yeah, huh? Wait a minute, little girl.
Me?
I remember now. You've been here before, haven't you?
Oh, no. Have you, Iris?
Yes. 2 years ago, when the detective came,
Oh, could have spotted the goth.
you were with him, weren't you? You were a living specimen then, too.
I guess, probably.
Let's go!
You're basing that off of nothing. You don't know.
I have no idea if she's single. Based on her personality, probably. But maybe some guys in
Whoa!
maybe some
Do you
guys
know,
in
do you know how much
Victorian London were into this.
yandere's fucking how much traction yandere's gets, Steven?
A lot.
You ignorant clown. Even I know that. They scare me. Not in the good way, in just the scared way. I'm a little babe.
Yeah,
I'm a big babe.
That's the
I'm
way
the
it
biggest
usually works.
baby.
The biggest baby. That's the way it usually works, yes. Was I? I really don't remember. Anyway, sorry, but I must dash. Wait, Iris. I'll brew up a pot for you when you get home. What's the matter with her? She's behaving really strangely all of a sudden.
Quickly disarm her by telling her dad's dead.
Well, in that case, we won't keep you any longer either.
It's been quite a while since I had any visitors. This was really fun. But next time you come, I prefer it if you are ready for dissection.
I can't make any promises, sorry. It's a bit strange that the records of Clint Van Zeeks' autopsy have disappeared, but I think we've asked all we came to ask now. Can we look at the pile of dolls? Doll pile. Let's have a closer look at this. Nope, never mind. Then again, let's not. At least not while she's armed. I'm assuming that just goes for everything in here, probably. Yeah.
I assume it's everything,
Yeah. Even that suspicious-looking trunk. So I think the next person we have to look for is Sherlock Holmes, although I don't know where we're gonna fucking find him.
We try is sweet.
We can try his sweet.
Be fucking shocked.
Nope.
If he was here, though. Nope.
Hotel? Nope. Alright. Yep, the prison governor's office. We found out he's lying. No, he's not here.
But the prison.
How about maybe he's in jail. Van Zeeks isn't even here. That's weird, huh?
Nobody's here.
Wait a
This
minute.
is a terrible prison.
You know, I don't
back
believe
to
we
the
visited
crime
this place
scene.
for some time. That sounds like a hint. 2nd November. Room on Fresno Street.
Oh, yeah.
Where is he?
Where is he?
The police are still busily investigating in here,
Hand
man.
back.
There's a green case on the floor that wasn't here before.
But Gina's nowhere to be seen. Where is she?
Yes, it has been blissfully quiet, hasn't it? Perhaps she's out investigating on her own, practicing what her boss taught her. No need to be a jerk in our hudo.
Well, I expect she'll be back before too long. Shall we wait?
Actually, there's something different about this room since the last time we were here, isn't there?
We could always use the time to investigate more thoroughly.
What's this box? This little trunk wasn't here before, was it?
Oh, it appears to be made of metal. It must be very heavy. I wonder to whom it belongs.
Open. Touch it.
There are some initials on the outside. Look. T.G.
Let's ask
Like
one of the
Tobias
policemen if they know how
Gregson.
it came to be here. Oi! What do you think you're doing? I assume. Yeah, there we
Gina.
are.
Yeah.
That's my trunk, that is. Hands off!
Gina. Your name is G. Elbound.
Well, what were you hiding? I don't know, you leave something unattended for a few seconds and every Tom, Dick, and Harry's got his greedy eyes on it. Just a wild guess, Gina, but... What? Spit it out, Aldo. Is it fair to say that you've only owned that trunk since this morning's trial? What? What are you trying to say? Come on, this trunk goes with me everywhere. Always has. Where have you been the last year? Trying not to incur your wrath, mainly. Anyway, what's up with that fucking trunk? No, you're not gonna tell me. You should hear them talking at the yard now. They should be ashamed of themselves. They're saying that it was the boss who killed all them bludgers. Ah, you mean the whole Reaper thing? Yeah.
The whole Reaper thing, huh?
Apparently the boss was investigating stuff that no one else at the yard knew nothing about. Stuff to do with all them criminals what got off scot-free. Yes, the ones prosecuted by Lord Van Zeeks who used bribery and corruption to evade conviction. Well then obviously, it was that bloomin' Reaper giving the orders, weren't it? But why would people be suspecting Inspector Gregson of being involved in the killings? There was a notebook in his office. Oh no, this doesn't sound good. It had details about all the crimes that have been pegged as the Reaper's work. What? What?
No. Did you see it, Gina? Did you see that notebook? I think it's a movie.
They won't flame and let me, because I'm just an apprentice, apparently. But it was me who found it, and he was my boss.
That's right.
Let's march on down to Scotland Yard and kick him right in the balls. Oh, I was pretty miffed
Hey,
about
Mr.
it, so...
Scotland.
I'll sneak a peek at what it said anyway.
Oh.
That's our Gina. The secret notebook. So, you managed to see what was written in Gregson's secret notebook anyway, did you? Well, I'll say it. It's my right to read what he wrote.
And what had he written, Gina?
Dates, times, places, names. An whole long list of them. All details about the bludgers supposed to have been done in by the Reaper.
But there could be an explanation for that. Perhaps it was a record of the inspector's investigations into the Reaper's activities.
Exactly. That's what I said. That's the first thing you'd think, right? As it happens, it was full of names I recognized anyway. Well, the Reaper's targets were almost exclusively known leaders of London's criminal underworld. Oh yeah, but there was one name right at the end that was a bit odd. At the end of the list, you mean? I'm pretty sure the date against it was 31st October.
Oh, the day before the inspector was found dead. Oh my god, he died on Halloween. It was a ghost.
Oh no.
It was a spooky specter.
So, what was the odd name? It wasn't like a name I've ever seen before. It was something like, That's no good, I can't remember it. I don't think it was an English name, put it that way.
Oh dear, what a pity.
There was something else too. I don't know if it matters, but the same name kept coming up over and over. Shin, it was. Don't suppose it means anything, but
Assassin.
it was assassin. Did you say Sheen? Eh? What? Does it mean something? Lord Van Zeeks knew the name too. He mentioned her as well. The woman who actually did the deeds. And now we find out her name appeared in Gregson's secret notebook. And that's no good. We haven't seen you for a
Thanks,
little
Sonic.
while, have we, Gina? No problem, Josh. It's me, Sonic the Hedgehog.
I didn't like that.
You don't like Sonic the Hedgehog talking to you directly?
No, it made my skin crawl.
Well, of course not. I've been busy, ain't I? Investigating and that. Lads at the yard are trying to trace down the boss's movements the day before it happened. The day before? That would be the undercover investigation into the Red-Headed League, then. Only the boss didn't go, did he? You found some cove what was pretending to be him, didn't you, Otto? It's me. I'm the cove.
That's right, I'm a cave near a coastline.
Yes, it was Mr. Vigil who actually went to the park on Lime Street that day posing as Gregson. Well, anyway, you ain't the only one turning stuff up. I've got my own ways of getting results. Doggy. When me and me partner here get together, there's nothing we can't track down.
What's his name again? Toby?
I think...
Oh, little Toby. He's such a faithful friend.
Did she name the dog after Gregson?
Definitely.
So did you track anything down then? What do you think, eh?
They have the same scarf.
Can't tell you though, police business, innit?
I love Toby.
Great.
Oh, goober.
Little dog. Anyway, the point is, if you lot ever need any help, you know who to turn to, right? Me and the Hellhound here. Right. Because he looks oh so hellish, honest. All puppies are like that. Gina, about your Hellhound there. Chief Inspector Toby, you mean? He's the pride of the force, he is. Bark.
In Japanese, police dog means something quite different and not altogether nice to those involved in crime.
It does?
Hold on, I'll Google it. Hold on. Hold on.
I don't know this particular piece of Japanese slang. Gives me time to take a little sip.
This is just talking about how they used dogs back in like 1912. I'm not finding anything immediately.
This game could really do with one of those like things where you can select keywords and it'll give you a little bit of trivia. I've seen that in a couple of visual novels that have really like very specific time period, like, stuff in it.
Yeah, I can't find anything.
Alright.
Ah, well.
But here in Britain, it's a wonderful compliment, it seems. For a canine, at least.
It should be. After all, in the Great Exhibition case the other day, it was Toby here who managed to locate Drebber's workshop. Maybe it's time for another demonstration of what this super dog can do, eh? Do we have something the Chief Inspector could catch the scent of, I wonder? Do we?
The wig.
I have no idea. His watch, maybe?
What about the wig?
Wig.
Take that!
The wig? Well, Chief Inspector Toby, if you wouldn't mind having a sniff of this. Snip, 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 snip. He might be a little too keen, don't you think? Oh, God! Ah! Chief Inspector made short work of Gina there. Woof.
Oof.
I think you were right. Ah, look what he's gone to.
Wow. I was just like, a wig would make sense because it's like an article of
smells-
clothing.
Smells like Gregson, yeah. Or
Oh
someone.
my, that trunk clearly still has a very strong scent. Of Inspector Gregson.
In other words, it must have belonged to him. She looks so mad. Oh, well, Rod, it's a fair cop, I suppose. And you nearly got away with it, too.
You always talk so proudly of Chief Inspector Toby's nose and what it can achieve. Did it not cross your mind that he might identify something that was right next to us?
Yeah, that was a bit of a bloomer, weren't it? That's enough now then, Gina. Eh? I think it's time you told us the truth about that trunk. The metal trunk. It weren't like that. It just weren't. What are you talking about? I know it's going through that head of yours, but that ain't what happened. Alright then, what did happen? Well, like I said before, we were trying to trace the boss's movements. So I let Toby have a whip of the boss's overcoat. And as soon as I done that, he went off like a shot. Right to that sandwich. To a sandwich? Not to a bag of chips?
Mr. Narhado, I believe Gina means the witness.
Oh, you mean Beppo?
Beppo.
Oh, I forgot about that sandwich. Yeah, he had it in between them wooden boards of his, the boss's trunk. Oh, Beppo, come on. You mean when they heard the sound like a gunshot and all piled in here? Exactly, he nabbed it from the scene.
Goodness.
Beppo.
Beppo.
Me and the chief inspector gave that sandwich a good grilling, and you know what he said?
Me when I make a cheese.
I thought it might fetch a good price, and the chap wouldn't be needing it anymore, so...
I just noticed he's spinning that in his hands, but it's square, so that's gotta suck.
That's all I did, nothing more, nothing less. Well, you had him and ate a cheek of it, eh? Stealing the dead boss's stuff to flog. So Miss Venus
Well, you
wasn't
had
the
him,
only
you-
one to... what?
I just like Cockney slang. It's so goofy.
I wish I could do Cockney rhyming slang, just fast enough to actually think of it, you know? What an endearing character trait that would be, and not at all annoying coming from me.
From me, someone in the Midwest of the United States of America.
So Miss Venus wasn't the only one to meddle with the scene of the crime, then.
They love meddling.
How could they?
So anyway, that's how it happened. And it's a pretty decent trunk, so I figured I might as well make use of it. Is there something wrong with that, eh? Well, bark. Maybe you and Mr. Sandwich should try to find the answer to that question together. So what's in it?
I think perhaps that trunk should be turned over to the police, don't you?
What are you on about? I am the police! Gina, if you wouldn't mind, could we maybe examine it? Yeah, alright then. Do what you want with it.
Thank you. We shall make a detailed record of our examination of the evidence.
Gregson's trunk has been entered into the court record. It's probably fucking locked. Grr. What's the matter with Toby? Why is he acting so aggressively towards me all of a sudden?
Mr. Naruto, be careful. It must be the trunk.
Oh God! Ah! 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 Thud.
He's
Toby,
dead.
oh, what are you doing? You're gonna lick his face off?
The U die. Mr. Naruto! Mr. Naruto! Yeah, right? Gina, quickly, hail a carriage.
What?
He's dead, man. He's dying.
Fucking killed him, goddamn.
He's fucking killed his ass.
2nd November, 4:57 p.m. Naruhodo's legal consultancy.
Former legal consultants.
The late Naruhodo.
Oh, Mr. Naruto, are you all right?
Mr. Zato. Ah, conscious again at last. A blessed relief, my dear fellow. After all, to drop dead after a moderate licking by a small terrier, most unseemly.
What is or isn't seemly is relevant here, Mr. Sholmes.
I love his shocked animation. It kills me every time.
He flails around so much. He's irrelevant, even. I like her slightly mad expression.
I know.
As mad as she gets.
A
I'm so
rump.
glad there's no. I'm so glad there's no lasting damage. How are you feeling?
Fine, thank you. Did you bring me back here? Ah, what's this on my head? A bandage? Sadly, we had no ice, so that's a compress of sugar water. Sugar water?
Don't worry, Mr. Naruto. It's a first aid treatment that my father taught me.
Oh, thank you. So, let us take tea when you're feeling up to it. But of course, no sugar in the patient's cup. The bump on my head is throbbing sweetly enough, don't worry.
Hee hee. Whenever you feel, whenever you feel ready.
I hate he's just standing there. Hey, fuck lord.
Wait, the shovel.
Ah, yeah, you're right. Thank you for your concern, Mr. Sholmes. My dear fellow, think nothing of it. I must say I was quite startled when I heard that you'd been attacked by a dog. For a moment, I feared that infamous murderer of so many had come back from the dead. You mean the professor? Fortunately, I see your prized throat is unscathed. My what? That stiff, turned-up collar of yours obviously afforded some welcome protection. Was I that close to death? All I really remember is the dog licking my face over and over and over again. Well, if you wish to avoid such trouble in the future, a little mustard spread on the cheeks should do the trick. I should think that would balance the sweetness of your bandage rather splendidly. Shovel. Aw. No new shovel
Damn.
dialogue.
The steam is rising gently from the kettle as always.
Steam from the steamed clams we put in the kettle. Yes,
What?
it doesn't feel right somehow unless it is. But the steam has an unusual scent today.
Perhaps the sweet potatoes that I brought back from Japan with me are ready.
The what? I have so many questions.
Oh, Mr. Naruto, I heard that, you know.
Tears of joy, Mr. Sato, from my mouth. What is she?
She brought sweet potatoes with her. She put them in the pot. Cooking them up.
I don't think sweet potatoes would last like 2 months.
Potato, maybe. Potatoes do last a long time.
What
They're
to
pretty
do?
shelf stable. Are you alright, Mr. Naruto? It's rather unusual to find ourselves here in the middle of our investigations.
It's just occurred to me that I might have forgotten something when we left this morning.
Please don't worry. As long as you continue to investigate thoroughly, you won't go far wrong.
Oh, yes, of course. I must get back to work as soon as possible.
Can we confront Sholmes about the thingy?
I was kind of hoping so, yeah. And we don't have it. It's the absence of... Oh, yeah, we never actually got to look at this.
Some blood on it.
Look at this dark stain here. Do you think...
Yes, I'm afraid so. I think it's blood.
Ugh, I knew you were going to say that. So that presumably means...
This was present at the scene when Inspector Gregson was killed. The most logical conclusion, yes.
To think Gina's been carrying this around with her. If you didn't know any better, I suppose it does look like a grease stain from all the fish and chips. The big slash on it. That's suspicious. Have you seen this huge gash across the side of the trunk here? It's gone right through the leather and into the metal behind.
Gosh, for a metal chest like this to have been so badly damaged. Whatever made the gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force.
I wonder how it happened. Can we open it? Or is it... I'm assuming it's gotta be locked, right? Let's have a look inside. Nope, guess not. Tight. Look, there's something inside.
Ooh, let's see. It appears to be a passport authorizing him to travel overseas.
Was Inspector Gregson about to go on a trip abroad?
Yes.
Then? Did you forget?
France, remember? Perhaps the date of departure might tell us something. That was... Oh!
What is it?
It was for travel on October 31st, just one day before the incident.
It was one day before retirement. What, really? Passports, man. Court record. Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered. Well, no.
Well, no, he did go
clearly.
to France.
This is like... I can't tell if it's... It's like wedged in there, whatever this is. Do you see that? There's something stuck in the side of the trunk there. It's glinting.
Looks like a fragment of metal of some sort. But it's wedged in so tightly I can't remove it.
Oh, don't cut yourself. You'd better leave it, I think.
Do we know any swords that are missing a point?
No.
Have we seen both of Kazuma's swords recently?
I suppose not. Port of Dunkirk, France, police business. Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. I think he had said that he was going
Yeah, he was
low.
bringing Gina.
Oh, was he?
I thought he was bringing Gina, but I had to...
I thought she was getting left behind and he was like, don't tell her about it. Alright, do we move down to Sholmes? I can't seem to talk to you. Do we move down to the suite? Have some tea and relax for a little while. Okay, yeah. You'll follow us downstairs, presumably. Alright, fuckboy, what'd you do with those papers? 2nd November, Sholmes' suite.
And what is Iris doing illegally? Yeah, you look guilty as fuck. Oh, hey, Mikutaba. You have a fun day?
What is this fucking German music playing right now? What on earth is going on in here? Am I having a bad dream? Ah, no, it's an old German folk song. Rather a fine rendition, I think. That's the least of my concerns.
Iris? Did you drug my father?
Iris, what's the matter?
Who is that sprawling, that relaxed gentleman over there?
Oh no. Iris,
She heard about her dad,
is she
didn't
even
she?
listening? Excuse me, sir. I do apologize for troubling while you're singing so merrily, but would you be kind enough to explain the situation? Well, that worked. Ruling gentleman and a mute young girl. A rather tantalizing juxtaposition. And one that appears to have incited the gods of deduction within me to find their voices
Oh
too.
god,
Oh god,
he is
no.
gonna... I was like, he is gonna do one, isn't he?
Ah, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean...
That expression is very like fucking hand in the candy jar.
Yeah.
The strains
I
of
see that
reasoning
broken
within me are
teapot
playing now
down
as a
there.
delightful duet. One melody sings of a reunion full of nostalgia, whilst the other is a morose theme about the great secret you're trying so desperately to conceal, Iris. She's turned as white as a sheet.
So, as usual, you've instantly seen to the very heart of the matter.
Well, by the time my own brief performance is over, I feel sure this gentleman's song will reach its finale. So then, to Music Land, where all is sweetness and delicacy and harmony. Pray, do enjoy Sherlock Holmes's latest logic and reasoning spectacular. Why about this? Man's identity. I mean, he's wearing the same suit and hat and mustache. Like, first, we consider the gentleman's nationality. Clearly, he's a German with no grasp of the English language. As evidenced by the Germanic song he sings and his apparent inability to understand when asked to desist. So, why is the man here at all, and in such apparently high spirits? The answer, of course, Iris, is clearly known to you. Indeed, we need only follow the gaze of those bright young eyes to unravel that particular part of this mystery. The reason for the man's mildly irritating warbling is revealed by the herbal tea. You obviously offered our German guest a cup of your latest herbal blend. The tea's delectable flavor has made the man's spirits soar, and resulted in this joyful ditty tumbling incessantly from his lips. I eagerly await sampling the flavor myself, that I may join the fellow in his state of elation. Now to the next question. Who exactly is this gentleman availing himself so thoroughly of the satay? As it happens, a number of years ago now, a certain gentleman of German origin engaged my services in solving a particularly delicate case. It required the retrieval of letters once sent to an acquaintance that might have proved problematic. In order to conceal his noble identity, he also arrived at my office in a mask. The gentleman's name was Wilhelm Gottschalk Sigismund von Ornstein. Oh no, the sad little German boy's father. The King of Germany.
I believe that's a reference to an actual Sherlock Holmes novel, too.
Yeah.
Because it's the one with, what's her name? The lady? The lady related to Sherlock Holmes stories?
His, like, daughter or whatever.
What is her name? No.
Wife?
No. What the hell's her name? Hold on. Sherlock Holmes girl. No, not Enola Holmes. Irene Adler.
Ah.
She's like, I believe in that story.
Nice.
As like, she like took pictures of the guy when he was in a compromising position or something like that.
I see. If my memory serves, the mask worn by this gentleman is identical. Yes, there
It's
can be
not?
no question. That mask belongs to the King of Germany. It would appear that His Majesty remembers the fine service I afforded him, and has decided to show his face again, mask and all, in order to express his gratitude. A well-mannered monarch indeed, wouldn't you agree, my dear fellow? So, the identity of this masked visitor is in fact my former client, the King of Germany. Indeed, his son is currently in London as well, enjoying the wonders of the Great Exhibition. I remember. Girls, silence. Well, this is going to be equally as stupid, I assume. Which leaves us with one remaining imponderable. Yes, you, young Iris. But your apparently inexplicable silence is unable to hide the truth. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside that knapsack. A £5 note, I believe. I must say, as your compatriot, I'm deeply saddened. It would appear that you've allowed yourself to be bribed into silence by His Royal Highness, earning yourself some spending money in exchange for keeping quiet about the king's secret. And now the final piece of the puzzle. What is this secret you strive to hide with your silence, Iris?
I hope she just has something in her mouth.
Ah, yes, we only need to follow that brief, involuntary twitch of your eyes to find the answer. You were attempting to abscond with that coffee cup. My favorite coffee cup, in fact. Or should I say, the handle of my favorite coffee cup. It appears that His Highness, Spirited Highness, broke it in the midst of his hijinks. Which leads us to the sad truth. My favorite coffee cup has been broken by the King of Germany, and Iris, you tried to conceal it from me.
He's just so dumb.
I shall have a bill sent via governmental channels to the German royal family for its replacement. He's so bummed out, too. My fucking coffee cup. Come on.
It was my favorite, you don't understand.
Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this painful puzzle. I forgot that was still going. With your silence as well, the fellow's jovial warbling rather rings in the ears, does it not?
Mr. Sholmes, I must say something does rather trouble me.
Pray, Miss Susato, do tell.
His Royal Highness
Looks a lot like my dad.
doesn't appear to have moved a muscle since we arrived.
Ah! And you haven't said a word either, Iris. If Mr. Sholmes has it all right, you might as well own up to it now. Your reasoning isn't entirely without substance, I must admit. And one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Yet another grievance, Mr. Naruto? Surely not. Well, I actually read the story of that case recently, the one where you were just describing. And according to that, at least, it wasn't the King of Germany, it was the King of Bohemia.
Yeah. I was gonna say, the little boy was Bohemian. Yes, that's quite true. Master Guts, the prince, testified to that in court. In his words, the windows were all covered with bricks because I have come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia.
I would ask you to keep that minor error to yourselves. It could easily become quite a scandal.
I believe, Mr. Naruto, that it's our turn now to make some corrections to a number of minor errors that may have slipped in.
Yes, even Mr. Sholmes is willing to admit he might be slightly wide of the mark this time. Although it's clear that Iris is definitely hiding something. We need to find out the truth behind this mysterious scene. But one truth is uncontrovertible. My favorite coffee cup is no more. So, shall we embark again on a joint presentation of Herlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular? Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. Firstly, we consider the gentleman's nationality. Clearly, he's a German with no grasp of the English language. As evidenced by the Germanic song he sings and his apparent inability to understand when asked to desist. So, why is the man here at all, and in such apparently high spirits? The answer, of course, Iris, is clearly known to you. I want to know why he put on Kazuma's mask.
Yeah, it's very strange.
It's a weird thing for him to have done. Indeed, we only need to follow the gaze of those bright young eyes that precede the misery. The reason for the man's mildly irritating wobbly is the herbal tea. No, I'm gonna say the fucking record player immediately behind the couch. So what is it? It's some mix of herbs that gives you the urge to sing?
Goodness. I should like to try some.
And I'd like to hear your singing, but this man... Just how long does he intend to keep up with that tune, do you suppose?
As I said, he's been stock still the entire time, and if you look closely, his lips aren't moving either.
Ah!
He's a ventriloquist.
So I'm not sure...
So I'm not sure what's actually responsible for those spirited singing. But I suspect the answer lies at the end of Iris's gaze.
Can I turn the camera? It's the fucking gramophone.
Take that!
Like, obviously. It sounds shitty like a gramophone does. The reason for the man's mildly irritating warbling is revealed by the gramophone. Indeed, for no well-bred gentleman would break into an obscure folk song when making a social call. In other words, this gentleman isn't singing at all. In fact, it would appear that
He's
the fellow
dead.
is unconscious. Ah, the music seems to have stopped now. I ask you, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Why would I have purchased a recording of that gibberish? How should I know? Well, never mind. On with the deduction. Who exactly is this gentleman availing himself so thoroughly of my satay? As it happens, a number of years ago now, a certain gentleman of German origin engaged my services in a delicate case of blah blah, yeah.
As you say, you don't have to reread it. It's the same.
Like, this one is a particularly long tangent also, which is why I'm not bothering. The King of Germany. My memory serves, the mask worn by this gentleman is identical. Yes, there can be no question, that mask belongs to the King of Germany.
No.
Although we've already established that it was actually the King of Bohemia.
It seems Mr. Sholmes intends to persist with his Germany theory for some reason.
Come to think of it, the young prince was wearing a mask as well, wasn't he?
Master Gotz? The boy whom you had in tears?
Don't remind me. Or anyone else.
Do you suppose all members of the aristocracy of mainland Europe wear masks?
I'm sure they do. Well, probably anyway. The point is, that mask doesn't belong to any king.
No, that's right, as we well know. Because we can identify the true owner of this mask.
It's Cosimo.
It's Cosimo.
Take that!
Take that! Yes, there can be no question. That mask belongs to Kazuma Asugi. In other words, my memory is sublimely unreliable. Only you could try to make that sound positive. Kazuma's mask has been languishing on this metal chest for several days, though that doesn't explain why the gentleman is wearing it now. But it is now a simple matter to determine our guest's true identity. After all, the gentleman is unconscious. We can just take the damn thing off of him. We need only excuse ourselves in advance, gently lift the mask, and peer beneath it.
Hi, Mikotoba. I mean, yeah.
I don't believe it.
Ah! Father.
I'm afraid,
Why'd
Mr.
you
Sato,
post up like
you
that?
must be mistaken.
No! I think not, Mr. Sholmes.
Then it would appear our logic and reasoning has once again revealed the truth. This mysterious visitor
Is my unconscious father, Eugene Mikotoba.
What did
Why'd
you
you
do
drug
to
her?
him? Logic
She
and
definitely
reasoning,
drugged
or
him.
just looking and saying?
But I don't know why. It's probably something to do with her dead dad. Or she was worried that Mikotoba was going to reveal something.
Maybe she just brewed a bad tea. Girl silence to hide the coffee cup. Which leaves us with one remaining imponderable. Yes, you, young Iris. But your apparently inexplicable silence is unable to hide the truth. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside that knapsack.
No.
That's a 5-pound note poking out from Iris's knapsack, is it?
Oh dear, I can't be sure. Most money that we encounter is in coin form.
I know. I'm not even sure if we've seen any banknotes here in Britain at all, have we?
But anyway, Father would never have paid money for Iris's silence.
He certainly seems like the silent type himself, though, judging by his present state. There must be some other reason for Iris's silence, I suppose.
Perhaps what Iris is trying so hard not to give away with her eyes is something entirely different. Is it the thing on the floor?
Thing on the floor?
Because like on the floor by the chest, there's like something down there.
I can't actually look
Is
at the. It might
Oh,
be
okay.
It might be the chest.
Yeah, it might be the
itself,
chest
though.
itself. Because that's
The
where
chest
she keeps
was-
all of her notes.
Yeah, the chest is full of all of her dad's old documents or whatever.
Yeah. It's gotta be that.
Take that!
Take that. Yeah. Okay. Yes, the reason for your muteness is concealed inside that metal chest. An excellent observation, for upon closer inspection, there is something different about the chest's appearance.
It's unlatched.
It's kept locked at all times, yet now, the catch is open. Evidently, this has something to do with your refusal to speak, Iris. But it's a simple enough matter to incite you to speak, I'm sure. I merely need to open this chest. Here we go. No! Holy don't! Oh! Oh!
Holy shit!
Oh! Mr. Schultz! Holy!
Herlock!
Why'd you do that? He's dead.
Never.
Oh, Hurley, I told you not to open it. Ah, so you found your voice now, Iris. Ah!
We're still going.
In other words, what just
I
happened
was not
clearly
expecting
reveals
that
the
Looney
truth.
Tunes ass shit. I thought she knocked him out with like a poison, but she just fucking has a big boxing glove in her chest to stop people from opening it.
Incredible.
This is somewhat different to your usual dance of deduction you perform with Mr. Sholmes, isn't it?
Oh, he's left me alone on the ballroom floor, so I'm gonna have to dance this next part solo. And anyway, I need to get to the bottom of this for my own peace of mind. Now then, Iris isn't usually the silent type, so...
You mean you don't actually know the answer yet? Despite that knowing point of the finger before.
Miss Susato, sometimes a man needs to point his finger first and think later.
That's true! That's true! Let me get a hell yeah!
Hell yeah, brother.
Oh, well, if you say so. I think we'd better examine Iris more closely and try to rescue the situation then. I can't fucking believe that.
Key.
Yeah, there's the key in her hand.
What was this key for? Do we know?
Take that!
I don't remember. I guess we'll find out. Yes, the real reason for your silence until now is that key behind your back. Ah! Well, Mr. Sholmes was thrown into the air before. Just before you called out to try to stop him, you slipped something out of your mouth.
Yeah, she had the key in her mouth.
That something is the key now in your hands, no doubt the key to the chest. You're so clever, Bruno. But now
I was
it
gonna say,
becomes
she definitely
clear.
had something in her mouth the
yeah.
whole time, because she was
She's
doing
got
a real
frog in
fucking
her
Tom
mouth.
Holland. Yeah.
Just keeping a little bee in there, you know.
So now it becomes clear. I fade out.
Thanks to Mr. Sholmes' graphic demonstration, we can
He's
well
dead.
imagine what happened here. But Professor Mikotoba also opened that metal chest, only to be punched into the air and land sprawled on the settee.
But wait, that doesn't explain all the facts. What about the stylish scarf and the cup of tea? And above all, why would he be wearing Kazuma-sama's mask?
Well, for those curious details, I can think of only one explanation. Clearly, an unbelievable miracle took place in this room.
Was it just that, like, all the things on the chest
fucking
landed
fell on
him.
top of him.
That's incredible. Isn't that right, Iris?
Yeah.
Consider how the room was arranged before this whole painful
I was gonna say, because those
experience
are all
took
just sitting there.
place. That's incredible. When Professor Mikatoba opened the chest, completely unaware of what awaited him inside, the mask was flung into the air just as he was, only to land neatly on his face when it fell back down. And the teacup's journey through the air ended when it caught on the unconscious professor's finger.
You mean to say that that stylish scarf?
Is actually just a tablecloth. This is the great detective's office, after all, a place of miraculous deductions. She's like surprised to be here. Oh, she gets to do the pose, hell yeah. Would you expect anything less?
She was like, "Oh, I guess I have to."
Oh, someone needs to do it. Yes, you're right.
It
It happened
looks
exactly
stupid
as you
on
said.
its own.
Brilliant, Runo. Thus concludes Ryunousuke Naruhodo's great deduction of this punchy puzzle. Glad he gets to have fun sometimes. So then, why don't I make a fresh pot of tea for us all?
Objection!
Oh shit! Objection! An admirable performance, Mr. Naruhodo. But in the final act of the show there, you rather missed everything of importance. Mr. Sholmes, if you would cast your mind back to my earlier deduction... Iris, clearly you're hiding a great secret.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he was unconscious from that. She is, from the look on her face. Mr. Sholmes must be right. Whatever that great secret is, the cat isn't out of the bag yet.
She is hiding something else.
So I put it to you again. You were attempting to abscond with that coffee cup. That's not a coffee cup, is it?
It really is a shame about Mr. Sholmes' cup.
Must have been smashed when the Professor Mikatoba opened the chest.
Oh dear, so many things seem to have been broken here.
Now that the
But now the
deduction
deduction...
is taken
Oh,
a different
sorry.
route, different direction, Iris doesn't seem to be trying to hide the broken cup anymore.
In other words, her great secret is something else.
Let's put our observational skills to work one final time, then.
It's something under the It's
Aha!
under the dish.
Case file.
Take that!
Is it Clint Van Zeeks' case file that
Probably.
she stole 2 years ago?
You were attempting to abscond with that case file. Iris, as you know very well, nothing escapes the attention of a great detective. Oh no. We visited Scotland Yard's autopsy laboratory earlier today. And Dr. Gorey informed us that the autopsy report of Clint Van Zeeks had gone missing. Terrifying. Clint Van Zeeks. Yes, I do seem to recall. That some years ago I asked to see the report in question. You were with me, weren't you, Iris? You mean it was you, Iris? So those papers you have there are... I'm sorry. Forgive me!
No, I absolutely will not. Jail.
Jail, 1,000 years. Jail until you're old enough to vote, and then you can be in the story again. In truth, I would like to have thought I could have predicted the booby-trapped chest. But it caught me completely off guard. I was very nearly the late consulting Detective Herlock Sholmes.
He recovered so fast.
I know, considering Mikito was still out. Maybe when Herlock landed on him, it knocked him out again.
Yeah, he was just about to wake up.
I'm sorry, Hurley. So you mean this autopsy report really is... Yes, I took it from the lab, even though I knew it was very important.
Was there something in it that troubled you, Iris?
Not exactly something that troubled me. Something I'd been looking for. When I saw this report, when I saw the writing in it, I knew it was Daddy's. The writing?
Your father's writing? What do you really mean?
Iris? It must be something that's hard for her to talk about. Not for me! Forgive me for interrupting, my dear fellows. Mr. Sholmes, what is it? I feel as though the poor unconscious gentleman on the settee has been somewhat forgotten.
Father!
Oh, right. Perhaps we should find our guest somewhere more peaceful to rest. Mr. Naruto, yes? Would you be so kind as to lend him your bed? We must do our very best to make him comfortable, I feel. Oh, yes, of course. I'll help you carry him up.
So will I.
No, I can manage alone, thank you. You have tea to enjoy. We wouldn't want Iris's brew to stew. And they're gone. Because there's no better way to make the professor comfortable than dragging him upstairs like a trunk. I wonder, perhaps that was deliberate. Maybe Mr. Sholmes is making himself scarce to give Iris the chance to talk more freely.
We must use this opportunity to talk with Iris. Find out what's going on.
What up, bitch? Your daddy. Would you like to tell us about it, Iris? About your father? I'm sure I told you before, didn't I? That Daddy used to be Hurley's partner.
Yes, and that notes about all the cases they solved together are kept inside that metal chest.
That's right. Hurley told me, you see. He said that Daddy's somewhere far away now, so we can't meet. That's one way of describing it. Ryunousuke. Then when I secretly unlocked the chest and read through the papers inside, I started to build up a picture in my head of what Daddy must be like. Well, that's only natural.
You're just like any other girl of your age.
No. I read that Daddy was a professor of medical science, so I studied and took my degree, too. Well, that's only natural, I suppose.
In that respect, you're not quite like any other girl of your age, though.
But there was one thing that I could never find out. Daddy's name. His name wasn't anywhere on any of the notes that he'd made about his work with Hurley. But then one day... That's what happened, is it? When you saw this autopsy report, you finally managed to work it out. Is that right? Yes. So it was the handwriting in the report that caught her eye. The autopsy report. When I saw the writing on that report, I could hardly believe it. I know that handwriting, I thought to myself. Because it was the same as the writing you'd seen on your father's case notes? Exactly. I was desperate to compare the two properly. I needed to see them side by side. I asked the doctor in laboratory, but I was told I couldn't take the report away. And even worse, I was told that was the first and last time we'd be allowed even to look at it there. So you decided to steal it. Thieves go to jail, Iris.
Thieves lose their hands, Iris.
When I compared the autopsy report with the case notes I had here, there was no doubt. The handwriting was exactly the same. It was Daddy's.
And the signature of the coroner at the bottom of the autopsy report.
Read Dr.
Read
John
Dr.
H. Nope. No.
Oh, right, that is you.
Read Dr. John
But
H. Wilson. So that's how I finally found out. I learned Daddy's name at last. I see. Fucked up that Sholmes would not tell you his father. Why did he not tell you your father's name? Ever since then, I've called myself Iris Wilson. And that's also when I had the brilliant idea of writing stories all about Daddy's exciting times with Hurley. I decided then and there that I'd write the adventures of Herlock Sholmes.
Oh, Iris, I had no idea the stories had quite such a deep personal significance for you.
I can see why the autopsy report was so important to her now. but stealing is wrong, and why she was prepared to break the law to get her hands on it. I must apologize, Iris, I assume? Yes. This is all really my fault. Hurley? I made a promise, you see, that until the time was right, I'd keep the details about your father a secret. I know. I've been very naughty. I'll take the autopsy report back to Dr. Gorey and apologize, I promise.
Well, hold on.
Well,
you
no,
can
hold
slide
on.
over here first.
Yes.
Well, hold, Iris, you've already. So what's one more day? What's one more day?
It's been missing for 2 years. She won't notice another day. Yes, we'll go together, I think.
Well, hold on, guys. Oh,
Then let me look after it for you until we get there.
Hey, Clint's autopsy report has been entered into the court record.
nice, nice, smooth.
I must go and water my herbs, I think. I'll see you all later. Poor Iris. She must be feeling awful. I know Mr. Sholmes is here for her, but still. I mean, he...
Ah. What? How? What's the meaning of this, Mr. Sholmes?
Uh-oh. Mr. Sholmes. Oh, dear me. So, you've noticed, I see.
But that would mean.
What on earth's the matter, Mr. Zato? You've turned as white as a sheet. He says that a lot.
It's this autopsy report, Mr. Nahado. The one from 10 years ago.
Is it Sholmes' writing?
Oh,
The
shit.
writing isn't Dr. Wilson's at all.
Huh?
Because she knew Dr.
What do you
Wilson's
mean?
handwriting.
How could you possibly know that?
Because I know this writing very well.
Or is it her father's?
This writing, it's my father's.
Oh, shit. What? What? Professor Mikatoba's? Indeed, it's true. And now you know, my dear fellows. No, I don't know anything. What on earth does all of this mean, Mr. Sholmes? Because the idea that's slowly forming in my mind, it's just too extraordinary to believe.
Iris and Susato are sisters.
Oh, shit. Please, you have to explain.
I was wondering. I was like, it's either going to be Sholmes' writing or Mikatoba's, and Mikatoba's would make more sense because he was first assistant there.
Yeah. But these British time of death, I don't think we're going to get anything important out of this, but I want to look at it anyway.
Yeah, we should look at it anyways.
Between 9 p.m. and midnight, death from a single stab wound to the heart. Other superficial wounds indicative of a duel. Additional notes. Thank you for the follow, Francesca von Karma. Please don't whip me. Recent scarlet ink stain still visible on the little and ring fingers of the right hand, but no document and corresponding ink was found. Autopsy findings. Vital evidence recovered from victim's stomach during autopsy. Credit to Inspector Gregson for petitioning so doggedly to the autopsy procedure. No internal trauma noted anywhere in the body. John H. Wilson. Why did... Now I'm confused. Tell me what's going on. So this autopsy
Mikatoba
report
is the one who wrote it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
this
because he was
autopsy...
first assistant.
Yeah, but it was signed John H. Wilson.
Yeah, well, I mean, well, I shouldn't admit to that. But
Yeah,
sometimes you sign
some-
for your superiors.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
happens.
So this autopsy report was actually penned by Professor Mikatoba then. But that makes no sense. It's not possible, surely. It is possible, and don't call me Shirley. Not possible. My dear fellow, pray take a deep breath and think again.
Yes, you're right. In some ways, it actually makes a great deal of sense.
It does?
10 years ago was when Father returned to Japan after his extended study tour in Britain.
And prior to his return, where was Dr. Mikatoba engaged? Ah, of course. He was an assistant in Dr. Wilson's laboratory, learning about forensic science. me still. I was taking a drink. And as an assistant, he would have aided with the dissection work, making detailed notes, which would be assembled into the full autopsy report. Once the work was complete, the head coroner would check the contents and put his signature on the document.
Yeah, that's like how you prepare a tax return.
Yeah.
There's a partner who signs it usually. In other words, the only writing of Dr. Wilson's in the report would be his signature at the end.
I see. So Iris got the wrong end of the stick, you mean? She saw that and assumed the whole report had been written by Dr. John H. Wilson.
Which is very understandable, of course.
What a complicated situation. The details of Clint's autopsy report have been updated in the court record. See, this shit is the juicy shit I live for in these kind of games. The intrigue. Thinking about it. Most of what we know about you, Mr. Sholmes, comes from the published stories of your exploits.
Yes, The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, written by Iris.
And we really have no way of knowing what's fact and what's fiction. Most troubling for you, my dear fellow, I'm sure. And I don't help by being the way that I am. So what about this supposed partner of yours? Did he really exist or not? Ah, you've come straight to the point, I see.
And please come straight to the answer.
Absolutely not. I believe Iris explained it in one of her installments. He was a trusted comrade, and the only person I could have called a friend.
And did this partner of yours truly make a record of all your cases? Are his notes really stored inside that metal chest?
Absolutely, oh, Jesus. Absolutely, my dear madam, absolutely.
Here, let me just show. Bah!
Blah! So, where's your partner now? Sleeping
Upstairs.
upstairs on your bed. We rarely meet. You see, he lives on the other side of the world. Oh shit, that means that that fucking Giselle Brett was probably trying to kill him.
Potentially.
But if this autopsy report and the records of all your old cases were penned by the same hand, and if the autopsy report was written, though not signed, by your famous partner, there would be only one logical conclusion. Pray, impress me. Your partner would have to be Eugene Mikotoba. In other words, Miss Susato's father. On my word, Mr. Naruto. Yes? You are coming along wonderfully. You have hit upon the method at last. You finally grasp the art of deduction. You mean to say? Allow me to introduce you. Oh hey, you made it. He's even kind of dressed the same. My
Yeah,
great friend
this
and
is a very
partner, Mikotoba.
Wilson look.
Yeah. Professor Mikotoba.
But now, is he Iris's father, or is Iris's parentage just like something else entirely?
Yeah.
Does this mean that you're the real Dr. Wilson?
No, my dear. I'm still my old self, Eugene Mikotoba, your father.
Oh, of course.
This is obviously too much for Susato-san to take in. I must say, though, how my old friend has attained worldwide celebrity as a great mystery solver is the greatest mystery of all. I still remember the first time we met. Ah, pray remind me. When was it again? No. Ah, pray remind me. When was it again, Mikotoba? 16 years ago, Sholmes. Ah, yes, quite. 16 years ago. I just arrived from Japan with Seishiro and Genshin.
Seishiro?
I was in search of lodgings close to the hospital, some comfortable rooms at a reasonable price. But rents are devilishly high in that particular area. That's right, so I decided I needed someone to share lodgings and the expense. I was fortunate enough to be introduced to Sholmes, who found himself in a similar situation. I was a callow fellow back then, a mere shadow of the great detective you see before you now. I was working at the hospital's chemical laboratory at the time, indulging my curiosities for little gain. And the situation of our cohabitation led to us pursuing cases together, you see. Hard to believe. It was a mere 6 years. We had a great many adventures. But in the last year of Mikotoba's stay in Britain, that most infamous of cases presented itself. The case with which you've become rather familiar yourselves, the Professor killings. After that trial, Seishiro and I were summoned back home. Hardly surprising, given the circumstances. So there you have it. And as you know, all the details recorded by my trusty chronicler remain in that metal chest. This is just amazing. Professor Mikotoba really is Mr. Sholmes' famous partner. Susato's gonna be mad about her.
She's gonna be like, father.
Oh no. The single father period. Goodness, my dear, what a cutting look.
As your daughter, I'm very proud to learn that you are the great detective's great partner. But nevertheless, there's another mystery that I really must ask you to explain now.
And that is?
You know very well what it is. The unresolved matter of Iris's father.
Ah, of course, I'd almost forgotten about that one. I should have seen this coming, I suppose. Iris's father.
Iris told us that all the notes about the great detective's adventures that are in that metal chest were written by her father. Isn't that correct, Mr. Sholmes?
That is indeed what I told young Iris.
But if you're Mr. Sholmes' partner, father, and you wrote all those case notes, then Iris's father must be you.
Ah! Upon my word, Miss Susato. Oh no. You are coming along wonderfully as well. You too have hit upon the method at last. You finally grasped the art of deduction. What?
What you've always told me, father, is that my mother died when I was born 16 years ago, and you left me in grandmother's care whilst you embarked on your study tour of Britain. And I've always accepted that. But all this about Iris...
Ooh, there it is. Susato-san's ice-cold stare.
Yeah, get his ass!
Now hold on a moment. It was very complicated. I mean, it's really not what you think.
Then perhaps you'd like to explain exactly what it is.
There it is. Now the eyes go from ice cold to red hot.
She's
just
gonna
before
throw him. Susato,
No,
toss!
really, you've got the wrong end of the stick. Sholmes,
Toss
say
him!
something, man.
Toss him!
Are we gonna get seen in cutscene? Aw. That's quite enough, my fiery fellows. Mr. Sholmes, when did he get all dressed up? Whilst I don't like to interrupt this exciting exploration of the past, Mikotoba and I have an urgent matter that requires a short excursion.
But it's very late, Mr. Sholmes. Where must you go?
Why, my dear madam, is that not obvious? My partner and I must pursue our natural enemies. So, get your coat, Mikotoba. The game is afoot. Ooh. I don't think I've heard that track. But Sholmes, I really must give Susato a full explanation, I think. Later, my dear fellow, later. Our carriage awaits downstairs already.
There's no time!
You haven't changed one iota, have you?
No.
I mean, really, I visit our home after 10 long years. When I open that chest in a fit of nostalgia, I quite inexplicably pass out. And as if that wasn't enough, when I eventually regain consciousness, I'm plumbed straight into all of this.
Father, please. Go with Mr. Sholmes now.
What?
I can throw you when you get back. I've no doubt that whatever happened, you are acting in everyone's best interests. I trust you. Completely.
Susato?
And sending the great detective and his great partner off on renewed adventures together is more than I could have hoped for in my wildest dreams.
Very well then. we'll speak again later. So, I believe your own work is done for the day. I wish you the best of luck for tomorrow. Yes, Naruto, good luck in battle, and in reaching a decision. A decision? About whether to go back to Japan, I suppose?
You have to. How else will you?
So much happened that day that I barely knew what to do with myself. It would only be later that I'd come to realize how amidst the chaos I'd unleashed were all the clues I needed to finally unearth the truth, and that all the turmoil was necessary to give me the resolve to see everything through.
To be continued.
Nice.
Maybe?
And,
Oh, an end.
and... Fuck you mean, and? I'm pretty baffled by that. The final chapter is called The Resolve of Ryunousuke Naruto.
Nice.
Alright, well that's gonna kick ass next week. But for this week, I think that's a good time to stop.
Yes.
Mate, I still feel like the finale is probably going to be longer than 2 hours. So I don't think next week will be the last one, but we're getting into it. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night, and we'll catch you tomorrow for Pokemans. Bye-bye.
See ya.